Imagine a world where the Gulf of Mexico is a highway for hidden cargo, a Portuguese freighter slicing through the waves, its hold camouflaged, carrying a deadly secret. This cargo, cultivated in Turkey, refined in Morocco, is destined for the gritty streets of Detroit, but first, it must pass through the hands of a cunning businessman in Ciudad Victoria. In the shadows, he removes packages from fish, adds a drop of caramel coloring, and transfers them to beef carcasses, sending them northward to Monterrey. Or perhaps the brown crystals are truly Mexican, straight from poppy fields near Morelia, refined in Guadalajara, and passed through middlemen in San Luis Potosi. Or maybe it's cocaine, smuggled from Peru into the Pacific port of Manzanillo, or Mazatlan marijuana, flown over the Sierra Madre Occidental to an airfield near Durango. Regardless of their origin, these drugs move northward, toward Nuevo Laredo, and into the hands of impatient American consumers. For years, familial clans like the Gatans and the Reyes Pernetas have competed for control of the narcotics traffic in Nuevo Laredo. The Gatans, a shadowy bunch, have cornered a slice of the marijuana market, while the Reyes Pernetas operate from a fortified ranch southwest of Nuevo Laredo. A U.S. Customs officer, disguised and infiltrating the compound, returns with tales of machine guns, mortars, and bandoleros, a scene straight out of a war zone. Drugs are big business, and in 1970, the head of the Mexican Federal Judicial Police, facing financial ruin, turns to drug trafficking, only to be arrested and meet a tragic end in a Texas jail. An American president responds to the drug influx by tightening border security, while the Mexican government assigns Everardo Perales Rios to command the federal police in the north. The competition between the Gatans and the Reyes Pernetas escalates into open warfare, claiming the lives of clan members, subordinates, cops, and bystanders. Enter Francisco Bernal Lopez, a lawyer with a reputation, known as El Abogado del Diablo, and El Padrino, who defends narcotics traffickers. After a newspaper questions his role, a machine gunner sprays the press room, and Bernal insists he's only interested in justice for his clients. Perales disrupts the clan's operations, particularly the Reyes Pernetas, but the traffickers shift their aim to governmental irritants. On July 28, 1972, Perales is assassinated, and the Mexican government sends 250 troops into Nuevo Laredo, but the violence continues. A busted dealer in Guadalajara starts talking, accusing members of the Gatan-Perneta-Bernal triangle of conspiracy in Perales' assassination. The Nuevo Laredo jail fills up, and the federales raid the Perneta compound, finding a ton of marijuana and 179 sticks of dynamite. Bernal flees to Europe, and the Mexican press maintains the story is true, with American counterparts agreeing. On August 26, 1971, U.S. Customs officers stop a car on the International Bridge in Laredo, finding 24 pounds of heroin and 2 phone numbers. The numbers lead to Jesus Carrasco Santoy of San Antonio, identified as the big man of a Mexican-American drug ring known as the Dons. Santoy, a balding, pot-bellied man with a stutter, is careful and paranoid, often seen in disguises and driving a battered pickup. He avoids the dirtier work, acting as a broker, and his connections span large Texas drug rings and underworld figures like Carlos Marcello. Prime movers in the investigation are Police Sergeant Bill Weilbacher, known as the Fat Man, and his partners Harry Carpenter and Tommy Lauderdale. Weilbacher's tough guy scowl complements Carpenter's soft-spoken friendliness, making them a formidable interrogation team. They identify Santoy as the Don's broker and name 10 other shotguns and mules, with the mules being the easiest to catch. Tony de la Garza, a mule, is murdered, and a grand jury begins investigating organized crime in San Antonio, catching the attention of Representative Henry B. Gonzalez. Frederico Carrasco Gomez, a smaller, darker version of Weilbacher, becomes the number 2 man, Don Ramon, and engineers operations at home. Carrasco, ambitious and ruthless, moves to Nuevo Laredo, but his darker nature surfaces, and he orders the murder of Tony de la Garza. Carrasco's gang gets caught in a crossfire between federales and native traffickers, and Perales' assassination leads to increased government action. Carrasco's gang is busted in Guadalajara, and he is arrested, but he escapes and returns to Texas, where he drafts an execution list for his subordinates. As the hunt for Carrasco intensifies, he moves around South Texas, a dangerous man with a lot of money, and the story of his crimes becomes a legend.